Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful to have you in church today. And I must tell you that from the moment that I came with my wife this morning with Presbytera, from the moment we came in at 8:45, I believe, we came from Winston-Salem today, and we were on our way to see our daughter and grandchildren up in Richmond. And so from the moment that we came, we were greeted wonderfully by the ushers, by the people who were participating as chanters and in the altar. And then to see all of you slowly come into church and to hear the wonderful choir. I have not heard choir in a long time, since before COVID. And when you sang, choir members, the only problem is I can't see you because of the chandelier there. Hi. You look very lit. But anyway, so I haven't heard that Aios o Theos in a few years, and you did it so beautifully. Thank you very much for uplifting us and for making it such a special, special day. I hope you have all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you to our chanters and to the altar boys and everybody who contributes to making a Sunday service very special. And of course, Father Paul Christy is a very close friend of mine, and Presbytera Mary. They're in Dallas, Texas, to baptize a grandchild. So that's a very, very happy time for them, and we wish all of them well. And another beautiful thing today, I met again Father Radu, who has been a friend of mine in the past here while he served you. And then I met a new priest, a younger priest, Father Alex. And so today it felt like we were serving in a cathedral. I hope you felt the same way. I think there was a special spirit here, and we thank you for that. Have any of you seen my big fat Greek wedding? Not the first one, the first one. Michael Constantine, and he is portraying a man called Gas Portokalis. Whenever I think about that man, pictures of my dad come to my mind, constantly. I was born in Israel, if for those of you who do not know, and my dad was a refugee from the First World War, after the First World War, and he was in a refugee camp in Greece for two years. Eventually, they found somebody who could absorb them in what is presently Israel, but it used to be called Palestine. But my dad, even though he was so poor and had suffered so much in Greece, had this great pride in who he was. And so every time we were sitting or every time we would be talking, he'd always bring up Greek this and Greek that and Greek the other. And it was hilarious because I had had enough of it. And I came to the United States, and now that I've had adult children, I'm using a lot of the same methodology that he did. And you could see my son's eyes glaze over when I say, that comes from the Greek word. This and that. And they like, okay, Dad, fine. But it's a beautiful thing to be proud. And I remember sitting in our dining room table whenever we had a meal together, small dining room table, not like in the States. And he would not allow us to speak any other language other than Greek. He said, look, with your friends you can speak Hebrew and Arabic. In school you can speak English, but at home, right here, I want only Greek. And every time I used another word from another language, it was easy to go from language to language. He would get very, very upset. So today, I want to talk about words. And I want to connect them a little bit. Because many, many years later, his example has resonated in my mind and my heart, like I'm sure example of people who you love. And their words kind of echo in the recesses of our mind. And I was reading an article this past week that a friend of mine wrote about Thanksgiving, and he was saying, the thrust of the article was, Thanksgiving means different things in different languages. I said, wow, how about that? There are many different kind of inferences. There's many different emphases, and I thought it was a good food for thought in this special season of Thanksgiving. And I think that we have much to be thankful for. In German, and I've just chosen two, three of his examples. In German, Thanksgiving it's a remembrance is key to the aspect of Thanksgiving. In other words, the word for Thanksgiving in German, and I don't know German, but the inference of it is remembrance. Remembrance. In French, and I don't know French either, the word conveys, I will pay you back for what you have done for me. So there's a give back. I will do something for what you have done to me. Think about that in the context of Thanksgiving. So in German, there's a remembrance, and how can you have Thanksgiving without remembering, right? How can you have Thanksgiving without remembering the many blessings that we have? But the French, I will pay you back for what you have done for me. In other words, I owe. Thanksgiving, have we ever thought of I owe in the context of Thanksgiving? Now, for the Greek word, mirroring my dad, Evcharistion, it's a compound word. Ev, E-U, means good. And then there's the other word and people have a different interpretation of what word it is tied to. If it's tied to charis means grace. And we know grace to be a free gift. So it is a good thing to have the free gift, is one interpretation. The other interpretation is ev, and the word is chara. What's chara? Joy, right? Happiness. So the other interpretation would be good joy. Good joy. How many times have we thought about Thanksgiving as the good joys that we have had in our life? How many times have we thought of Thanksgiving as what do I owe? How many times have we thought of Thanksgiving, I got to remember the things that happened to me? Beautiful, isn't it? Words, etymology of words have such a wonderful, wonderful way of cutting through some of the stuff that clouds our thinking sometimes, or stops us from really seeing the depth. It's very significant, my friends, that the church, from the very beginning, called its key worship service, the worship service that we just participated. What did it call that worship service? Eucharistia, the Eucharist. We have to remember. What do we do here? We remember Christ. We remember His teachings, His coming, His death on the cross, His resurrection. That's what we remember. And His promise. We pay back, according to the German, we pay back because in the epistle lesson today we heard that we are all created to do good works. So in a way we are called to always kind of give back. Give back. And then finally, the last part of Thanksgiving from the Greek, the joy of receiving. So the church from its very beginnings focused on the idea of Eucharist. And you know, I wanted both your priests from this parish, connections to this parish, to give you Holy Communion today. And I stood back, and I felt like crying, because it felt like almost everybody in the church received communion today. the line would not end, right? Did you feel that same? Eucharist brings us all together towards that one common cup. I want to add one more word to this kind of meandering through languages that are Thanksgiving. And the word is one that we should be practicing all year long. The word is, but we should be living in thanks-living. Thanks-living. So I looked up that, wanted to see what examples of living. What is it? Thanks-living is gratitude in action, but gratitude is not enough. We got to do something about it. So thanks-living is doing something about our thankfulness. Thanks-living is thanking God for talents and abilities that we possess, but also it says we accept the obligations to be invested, our talents, abilities, our talents, to be invested for the common good. So it's not only saying thank you, but it's saying, you know, I got to take what God has given me and what I've developed, and I got to invest it for the common good, for others. It is to accept what people have done for me and you by doing things for others. Thanks-living. Thanks-living is thanking God for the beauty and helping to make the world more beautiful. We see beauty all around us. We want to make it more. How do we make it more beautiful? In today's environment in the United States and elsewhere, rather than making things more beautiful, it's making things more dark. We can participate in that, or we can say, no, that's not who I am. That's not thanks-living. Thanks-living, two, three more, and that's it. Thanks-living is thanking God for inspiration by trying to be an inspiration to others. We are inspired by different people, by different things that we see. Why don't we become an inspiration to others as well? Thanks-living is thanking God for each day by living it to its fullest. And this last one, thanks-living is thanking God by giving our hands, our arms, our legs, and voice to your giving arms, hands, legs, voice to your thankful spirit. It's a way of life, my friends. And if we go through life with thanks-living, it colors everything that we do.